So how to act in life without getting affected by results? This is the question. The question is, there are a lot of stresses in life about job, family, health, business. And this stress comes because we have to make a choice. We have to act in life. Inaction is not acceptable. And every action will lead to some consequences. Okay. How to give best, but not bother about outcomes. So in a scripture in Bhagavad Gita says, Karmanye vadikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachana. You have right to do your duty, but you should not be attached to fruits of action. Our life is full of choices, apparent choices. Okay. Life seems to be having full of choices, apparent choices. And every moment we are faced with a new choice. Something I have to make, decision I have to take about my life, my career, my health, or whatever is that. What will happen if I take this choice? Because consequences can be anything. What will happen if I do? What will happen if I don't do? So many people procrastinate. They will not take a decision. They will not act. Action is fearful. Inaction is also fearful. It's like between the devil and the deep sea. Either you act or don't act. Both are the problems. And both cause tension. Action or inaction both cause tension. Right? So, is it possible to act without worrying about the future? So first let me ask, every situation in life, we seem to have choices, but are they real? Most of the choices in life are not real. It's imaginary. It's like I have two legs. I'm free to move any leg. Means I have two choices in life. Move left leg or right leg. But moment I moved my left leg, kept one foot forward, I have only one choice left. Right leg only I can keep. I can't move the left leg again. Every choice in my life limits the further choices. Every situation in life takes me a place where I don't have further choices. But I have imagination of the choice. I have imagination that I can lift my both legs. It's not possible. So a real choice and imagined choice, you have to understand the difference. Before marrying a girl, I can marry the princess. I can marry a film actor. Okay. Choices are infinite. But practically the choices are limited. Which film actor will marry you, fellow? My imagination runs wild. Reality won't be satisfied. I have only reality is no film actor will marry me because I am not a great actor. So practically our choices are limited, but our imagination runs wild. Right? But after marrying one girl, there are 100 girls before marriage, marriageable girls for me. But after marrying one girl, the choices are zero. Right? So every choice leads to choicelessness. Or every choice will lead to reduction of choices. That's life. Okay. But in our imagination, we think there are a lot of choices. They're not. Every choice restricts our freedom of choice. So every decision in life takes us in some direction. If you have taken engineering, medical is gone. If you have taken medical, engineering is gone. Like that, we have gone in certain direction. Now, when I face a situation in life, the choices we make are also limited. There are no unlimited choices in life, right? Practically, there is limitation because of this restriction. What has happened? My previous choices have given me few options to choose, and every choice has a consequence, intended or unintended. Choice means consequence, right? intended or unintended consequences are there. Now, with the limited choices, you have a freedom. Your choices are not many. And that limited choices has a consequence, a desirable outcome or undesirable outcome. Both are possible. We are more worried about undesirable outcome. Okay. Undesirable outcome causes disturbance for me now. That's the question. If desirable outcomes, it's well and good. Here, the basic principle of life you have to understand. The principle of life is there are some things under my control. There are things which are not under my control. The domain of my control and the domain which is not under my control. Anyway, for a simple clarity, I'll call it as what is in my control and what's in God's control. Because God has a much larger perspective. So-called God, he has a bigger picture. He controls many things, whereas I can control only few things. I cannot control what God does. I cannot even control what Prime Minister does or anybody. I cannot control what you do also. So I have a choice and control within my limited domain. But the problem is the result has to come from a bigger picture where I don't have control. It's the interplay of many factors. It's the interplay of many factors. Take the example of somebody who is writing an exam. Very competitive exam. I have to get good marks. I have to get 99.99 percentile to get into IIT. Perfectly all right. Ambition is right. But to get 99.99 percentile, the question paper has to be all right. The examiner has to be good. And your competitor should do worse than you because it's a percentile ranking. Right? And at the time of examination, your health should be okay. Your physical health and mental health should be okay. So there are factors under your control and there are factors which are not under your control. So what should you worry about? Factors under your control or factors not under your control? No matter how much you worry about factors not under your control, nothing will come. But then you will not focus on factors under your control. What is under your control for the student? Study well. How many competitors are there? How many other people will get better marks than he can't worry because it's not under his control. So, in general, the things under your control, you can do well. Things not under your control, no matter how much you worry, you can't do anything about it. It will only waste your time. So the focus should be on what is under your control to the extent of best possible way. So do it well. So I would say, just make it well. See, in my control, in God's control. The rest of all the factors, unknown factors, I put God's control. My health, job, my competence, all those things, I put God's control. What is in my control, I can do. What is not in my control, it is determined by unknown factors. I don't want to waste my time on worrying or thinking about unknown and unknown factor. But then I can't do what I am doing well. So a very sane or a practice thinking is, let me do best what I can do. Then what happens after that? The result, I don't have control because it's not under my control. It's God's control. It's a bigger world, bigger picture, which is there I don't have. Right? So that means I should be able to take any action without worrying about the result. Because the result is not under my control. If I worry about the result and result is under my control, I have to worry. If it's controllable, I have to worry. If it's not controllable, how do I worry? But our problem is we are not ready to accept this not under my control. Somehow inside I feel I deserve it. Right? A sane person, an intelligent person, will focus on what is under his control and not worry too much about not under control. But that doesn't mean that he'll be careless. So he says, this is under my control, I'll take this action. These are the 5 things which can go wrong because it's not under my control. So what is the backup action I can plan? What I call is plan B. Plan A, plan B, plan C you can make in case things don't go. Consequences. So what is under your control is do well what is in your hand and be ready for the consequences rather than worry about the consequences as a plan B. In case nothing goes wrong, right, should be able to accept it because you don't have a choice. At this moment, you have only limited freedom, limited choices, and limited options, and limited consequences. In some situations, whatever choice you take will not give the result. Then accept it now, because that's how life is. And what is the point about worrying about something which you can't control? We have my grandmother. She lived for 100+ years, and she fell down. Okay, she fell down, and brain hemorrhage was there. She was in coma. Her grandchildren, there are 5 of them are doctors, all very top position, and they made a panel. They consulted with each other. What should be done now? She's in coma, right? So surgery, let us do surgery. I thought at the age of 95, what is the point of 90, 100? What is the point of brain surgery? So these people didn't agree. Then they finally went into brain surgery. She didn't come out of coma. 10 days are over, right? All best brains working together, doing right surgery. Still, you can't bring out of coma. Consequences you can't control, right? So after 10 days, they had to take a decision because every day ICU was costing 10,000 rupees per day. So you have to take a decision. After 10 days, they terminate the life support. So decisions we can take. We can do best about results. And if decisions don't work out, what is the backup plan we can plan? Our thought should be focusing on the action and not worrying about the results which are not controllable. If results which are adverse, not as per expected, what is the plan B I can plan? What is plan C I can do? Beyond that, everything is useless. This is a practical life. I mean, I don't know, is there any other way of living? Right? It's not a very big philosophy.
Consequences could include you losing yours or loved ones' life.
Yeah, the consequences in life can be anything. A best doctor doing surgery in his loved ones still cannot guarantee life. Okay? Because action is under control, results are not under control at all. There may be a number of factors. I have another case. Okay? Husband and wife are doctors. I'm telling all real life cases. Husband and wife are doctors. The wife's father, which is father-in-law, had a cancer. So they went to the hospital. In the hospital, doctor said he's already 80, 85. Okay, it's a terminal case. So best give him some to die, which is actually a sane advice. But husband and wife, both are doctors. They're not ready to accept the suggestion. Right? They're not ready to accept that father will die. They did all sorts of experiments, new medicines, surgery, radiotherapy, and what you call multiple experiments they did to try to save him. He died in 6 months in miserable pain. Just because you are not ready to accept the consequences, you are putting a person through immense suffering. In this case, consequences was very clear. Action of surgery, everything is clear. He'll suffer. And this is really happened. the person had a miserable death. Just if they had not done anything, just allowed him to die, he would have died at least a peaceful death. This is life. So our problem is, please understand, our problem is we are not ready to accept the consequence. We are not ready to accept the consequence. First of all, we are not ready to accept the results are not under my control. I want to control everything in the world. Are you God? Even president also cannot, president of country cannot control everything. Right? We don't have control over a nature. We don't have control of many things in life. First, I'm not ready to accept that I don't have control. Second thing is, I want a consequence. I want result to be like this, that I don't have control. I can't accept. So I can't accept a consequence which is not favorable to me. First thing you understand, you have you have the freedom to do what is best under your control. Nobody will question you. Do it. You don't have a control of the result, no matter what you do. Maybe some part, some way more. So then plan B, plan C, plan D you do for consequences. So if somebody is able to do plan B, plan C, plan D, that means the person is not worried too much about the result. He has already planned back. But many people suffer in life because they're not ready to accept the consequence at all. If unfavorable consequence, they're not ready to accept. It has to be like my way or the highway. That's not possible. Learn to accept gracefully whatever consequence comes, but have a backup plan. That is a practical life. If you do this, there will be less worries, less anxieties in taking any decision, whether it's health related, financial related, or anything. Does that answer the question clearly?
I think so.
Okay. Anybody has a question on Zoom? So let me summarize. There are things under my control in life. There are many things not under my control in life. A sane person, an intelligent person will focus on things under his control. So I would call these two things as under my control, under God's control. I can't worry about what is under God's control. What is my control? The action which I can take, the focus on the work I can do. If I give 100%, the chances that I'll do well. If I'm doing something, I keep on worrying about the future, then my work which I'm doing will go wrong. I'll give the example of our sports minister. His name is Rathod. Rathod was our sports minister. He was an Olympic medalist. He said he was in rifle shooting. He went to silver, and then he has to shoot one shot for him to win the gold. While winning that, he said he was focused on the shot. Then he started, what if I miss the shot? Hand started shaking and he missed it by few inches, few inches. If he had just focused on shooting, he would have won. He is worried, what if I don't win? So, and he lost the gold medal, but he became our sports minister. Focus on what you can do your best. Do not, and every decision has a consequence. Accept it. If this consequence comes, what is my plan A? Or if this consequence comes, what is my plan B? Work on that. That's under your control. But forcing a consequence, forcing a desired favorable result is not under your control. Do not waste any time on that. So life appears to be having a lot of choices. In practicality, there are very less choices. Every choice will reduce the choice, further choice. Ultimately, you will become choiceless actually. You have control over your actions, but no control over the result. That's why Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Karmanye vadikaraste. Focus on what you can do. Actions under your control. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Result is not under your control. Now, result is not under my control. Plan for backup. Accept what happens. If you don't accept what happens, then throughout your life you regret. Why do you want to take regret? Why do you want to take a suffering now? For which things don't happen. Things which are not happening according to you. Accept it. The moment you accept, mind will be peaceful. It will be less burden. Action orientation. Focus on doing what you can do well. Not getting attached to the result. This is the life. This is the life of Bhagavad Gita. Any questions? Any questions for people on Zoom?
Hari Om Guruji. Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, yes, Guruji. Like as you said, while taking the choices, and when coming to the results, we get discouraged at times because when the results don't turn up the way we want it to be. But gradually, as years pass by, the result which has turned up would be the best one to be actually, because the one which we assume wouldn't have been that worth it rather than the result which has turned up.
What life brings, we can't predict. Whatever life brings, will be for good. That's what we have to accept.
Yes, that with the experience we learn, because initially we have one thing on head that this is the best result, but the result may turn up to be just opposite. And later, gradually, while the years pass, we understand that this result was the best actually, because then what we thought, especially coming to the spiritual journey, if those things wouldn't have come that way, we wouldn't have fallen into the spiritual journey at all.
I'll tell you the story, this thing, right? See, what life brings to us. We have to accept this is the best possible thing can happen to me. Then our life will be peaceful. We cannot keep on demanding from life. We have to learn what life gives to us. This is a small story. There is a story. One person goes to astrologer. His life is in trouble. Job loss, family, health, everything is a problem. He goes to astrologer. I'm in trouble. What should I do? The astrologer looks at horoscope. My God, you are in deep trouble. You have Sadhe Saat Shani, that is Saturn period, 7.5 years. It just started. Next 2 years is going to be terrible for you. Somehow manage. So then person says, 2 years. After that, what will happen? If you are able to manage for 2 years, after you get adjusted to that. So life is any situation. Ultimately, our survival instincts will work. We try to come out of that in some way. Difficult situations or bad situations, finally human beings will find a solution. So understand that whatever life offers to me is best possible thing. Accept life. Once you accept life, you'll be peaceful. Then you start working. Good is offered or bad is offered. You start working with that and try to make your life beautiful. Worrying about things which are not under control will not help you. Is that clear?